What's happening? What's happening? What is people? I am back. I only took a week off, but I am back. Welcome to Moment with MoeSghetti, your mental and spiritual wellness podcast. I am your hostesses with the mostesses, your spiritual wellness guide, your auntie, sister, cousin, best friend, always coming with the realness, coming straight fresh off of vacation. MoeSghetti herself. Hello. Hold on. They done rearranged some of this stuff. My goodness. So today's topic is, what did I say today's topic was? It's worth it. It is worth it. Today's topic is it's worth it. But before we get into that, I'm gonna do a few church announcements. But I just want to say I'm back. I was on vacation. I was gone from home for almost a week and a half, and I feel absolutely excited. I feel absolutely invigorated. I feel like a lighter, brighter, better person. I feel changed, and I hope that today's message, today's lesson, today's topic will be able to you'll be able to feel as inspired as I do. You'll be able to feel as free as I do. Look, if I'm sitting behind this mic looking a little like sideways, it's because I just got off of a cruise ship and everything in this room is rocking back and forth, rocking and a rolling and a rolling and a rocking and everything in this room is rocking and a rolling and shifting a little back and forth because my equilibrium is off. But that don't stop nobody. That don't stop no show. I'm still here with you. I'm still ready to get things popping. So without further ado, let's jump on into the church announcements for the week. Church announcements. Church announcement. Hold on. All right, what we got going? What we got going ahead? In the brotherhood. So, I know I just got off of vacation, but I'm going back on another trip. AM PM, Anthony McGahee and Praise Motivated is going out of town. We will be in Washington, D.C. this upcoming weekend, Labor Day weekend. So if you are over there on the East Coast, if you're over there on the East Coast, anywhere in the DC area, I advise you, look, catch us while you can. Hey, Mom, there go my biggest fan. There she go. I don't know if you knew if I was coming on today. I didn't know if I was coming on today because I'm fresh off my trip, but I am here and we just got into the church announcement. So you ain't missed nothing yet, Mom. Anywho, MoeSghetti. Anywho, like I said, AM PM, Anthony McGahee and Praise Motivated will be in Washington, D.C. Fellowshipping with B. Chase Williams and Shabak for the 30th anniversary choir revival. I'm really excited about this. It's been a long time since I've been to DC. I got some family and friends coming to see me. I'm real excited about that. The show is on Sunday the 3rd at 4 p.m. I believe the flyer says that it is free to get in. It'll be at Union Temple Baptist Church. So if you've never seen AM PM and you are on the East Coast, you're in the DC area and you're interested in seeing us perform live, I'm telling you, we are a dynamic choir. We are high energy, high praise. And we are excited. Look. We do the most when we're in town, but we show out when we out of town. So you ain't going to want to miss it. The Holy Spirit is, we going to be in a place. The Holy Spirit is going to be with us. This fly that is flying around me and just landed on my arm will not be present. Anywho, gone somewhere. So yes, if you're interested in seeing Praise Motivated and you've never seen us and you are in the DC area, here's your shot. Come on by. I'm excited. I'll be in the building. And yeah, it's gonna be a great time. So that's what's up. Anywho, also, in the city of Milwaukee, if you are interested in some good old church time, we have the not the Central Church of Christ. We have the Midwest Lectureship. So it is like a big revival with a bunch of different preachers and a bunch of different really awesome lessons put on by the Church of Christ. It will be October 18th through the 21st. If you're interested in attending the lectureship, Right now, we are still under the regular registration, which is $150 for the entire event. Like I said, it's October 18th through the 21st. If you're just looking to attend the banquet where they will be honoring my minister, Dr. Stephen N. Thompson, for his 30 plus years of service, 35 plus 30, almost 40 years of service to our congregation, we'll be honoring him for that, as well as the work that he's done amongst the brotherhood, because he's been in ministry actually longer than that. But he's also been one of those ministers who has helped a lot of other ministers and a lot of other churches in the brotherhood out throughout the years. And so we're really excited about honoring him. The dinner is just $55 if you're interested in coming to the banquet. If you're not interested in attending, well, even if you are interested in attending the lectureship, we actually have vendor slots available. So if you are a vendor, if you're an entrepreneur, a small business, and you are interested in coming through and selling your products at the lectureship, there is space available for you. Vendor tables are $150, and I do believe that that is for all 4 days of the lectureship. So if you're interested in getting more information about that, I have that information. You can either text, inbox, call, hit up me when I'm not live, or you can contact the Central Church of Christ, talk to Monica Irving, who is our secretary, and she can get you all of the information that you need, as she's one of the organizers this year. So we're looking to have a good time. Again, that's not until October, but vendor tables are going fast. The deadline for that is September 1st. But if you talk to Monica, we do need to start getting a count so that we know who and what to expect. So get in where you fit in. $150 to vend for 4 days is actually a pretty good deal. And with the number of people who come through the lectureship, there should be a nice turnout for whatever it is that you got going on. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Contact the Central Church of Christ. 265-4100 is the church's phone number. Oh, excuse me, area code 414-265-4100 is the church's phone number. Sister Monica Irvin, our secretary, will be available and to answer your questions about either attending the Midwest Lectureship, which will be in Milwaukee this year, or vending at the Midwest Lectureship. Actually, I think it's specifically in Brookfield. So even if you're not directly in the city, it's more specifically in Brookfield, which is, just outside of Milwaukee. So with that being said, let me go and take a drink before we get into this adventure. I'm feeling good though, because I'm full. I went to Buffalo Boss and got me a veggie chicken sandwich before we started today. So I got some on my stomach and I got some time to kill. All right. So today's topic, well, let me not get ahead of myself, and let me take a look up here. What's up, Vivian? How you doing, darling? It's great to see you. I really appreciate you always supporting. Of course, we got Moe MoeSghetti in the building. If there's anybody else in the live who would like to say hello, go ahead and drop a hi, drop a wave, drop a heart, or whatever it is that you want to drop in the comments, so I can give you a little shout out and so I can know that you are in here with me spending a moment with MoeSghetti. Anywho, so Joy, hi, cousin. Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by today. And of course, always love and appreciation to those of you who watch the playback. I know there's a good number of people who watch the playback, and I always love for you guys to give me feedback about how the show is going, whether or not you enjoy it. Just let me know that you watch it, whether you comment now while I'm live or whether you comment later on when you watch the playback. If the message is for you, for your spirit and for your heart, then it's for you in whatever time that you get it. So I appreciate those who watch live, who interact with me, and those who watch the playback. I would love as many people as possible to watch live because I love interacting with you guys. And if you have anything to say, contribute, if you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. So let's get into it. Let's get into it. Today's topic is it's worth it. It's worth it. It is worth it. So, for those of you who don't know, like I just said, I'm fresh off of vacation. I just took a trip with a good chunk of my family. My great grandmother's, my mom, she has a dad, he has a mom, and they have a family and I was with those people. I got an opportunity to attend a family reunion, connected to my great grandmother. And I got a lot of time to spend with cousins of mine. And we did a portion of the trip on land where we all met up in New Orleans. And then we continued on for the next 5 days on a cruise ship floating around the Gulf of Mexico. I got an opportunity to visit Cozumel, Mexico, and Yucatan. Progreso, I believe, is the name of the city that we were in. I got an opportunity to go on some excursions, and I got an opportunity to really just spend a great amount of time on. There are two flies in here now. That is ghetto. Anyways, so I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my family, and spend a lot of time, getting to just be away from everything, but also as I expected, because I tend to keep my eyes open for the spiritual side of things and the messages and the lessons that God and the Holy Spirit are trying to bestow upon me. I had some eye opening and some very awakening and some very affirming moments as I was gone. And out of that, the phrase "it's worth it," the phrase "it's worth it," um, fell out of the entire experience. When I said you saw one fly, it looked like a bird. It probably looked like a bird because it swam. Swam. It flew past the camera. It probably looked huge, but no, I saw two of them because it was one flying around, and then they like did this. But regardless, we're gonna try to not be distracted by the fly, singular or plural, in this space. So, the phrase "it's worth it" fell out of the experience. Um, so we had the opportunity to go on some excursions. Now, first of all, those excursions were not a part of the original price of the trip. My one of my aunts took care of my accommodations for the actual cruise because she wanted me to come. But the excursions, if you wanted to do that, were a little extra. And not being a wealthy person, I sat back with my bank account and I looked at the trip. I looked at the excursion is, and I had a meeting with myself and was like, experiences experiences are kind of priceless. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm not even gonna do the cheapest excursions available. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pay for the experiences that I actually want to have. And then once it was paid for, I didn't really think about the money anymore because it's already gone. Um, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad I did because the experiences that I was able to have were absolutely fantastic. So there were 2 excursions that we went on. One of them, when I was in Cozumel, was at a place called Escaret Park. This park was I think they said 100 acres, and um it was there was an aquarium, bird sanctuary, butterfly pavilion. There was a long tunnels that you can swim through. There was what else did they have there? There were an opportunities to swim and play with dolphins. There was so much to do at that park. And my cousin and I decided, well, along with the tour guide, one of the main reasons that I wanted to go on that excursion is I kind of wanted the opportunity to I really wanted to see the birds, but as we were looking, I kind of wanted the opportunity to swim through like the long tunnel. And as a person who is not a strong swimmer, it took some convincing. Like my cousin and I were on the phone. Both of us were trying to convince both of us that this was a good idea and that I was not going to die in Mexico. Trying to swim in some water that I had no idea what the depth of it was. Like I said, I'm not a strong swimmer. I swim stronger. I float very well in salt water though. And so when I was looking at the pictures, I saw people in the water taking selfies with their kids, and I was like, man, if they could. No, this was with Michelle. I was like, man, if they can make it through the water with their kids, then we should be able to. I should be able to do this. And we did, and the swim was so much longer and so much more exhausting than we expected, but it was such a beautiful experience. Like, to it was nice and cool, and to just make our way through this jungle, make our way through these tunnels, and just like see and experience something, and just like the mental tenacity that it took to make it all the way to the end was a lot. And I was very glad that I did it though, because it gave me the opportunity to really kind of step into something that I was very clearly fearful of. But um, you know, I looked at the circumstance and I saw that I saw the provisions that were available, and I knew that I was safe. I knew I wasn't going to drown. I knew I wasn't going to die. Nobody's going to let me just die in the water. And so I stepped outside of something that I wouldn't normally do. And it was difficult, but it was worth the experience to be able to see and to know that I could swim. It was like 3,000 feet or something crazy like that, that did not feel long at first. But once we got to the first marker and they were like, the adventure's just beginning. And we got to the halfway point. I was like, are you kidding me? Um, but it took a lot. And, we met people along the way that we were able to encourage, that were able to encourage us. And when I got to the end of it, I felt accomplished. And we sat down and had some food because I was also exhausted. Um, but I was really proud of like how far I was able to push my body. There was a time where I had so much more weight on me, and I had so little of it mobility in my body, that I wasn't even really able to walk like a couple of blocks. Like, walking 3,000 feet would have been like heinous on my back, let alone swimming through this water and having to fight the current every once in a while, and not really having a lot of flow, and trying to hang on to rocks and kick off of them so that I can get a little bit of momentum, and pulling myself along a rope whenever we found one. Like, there was a time where I absolutely know that my body would not have been able to do all of that. And it just felt really good to be able to be in a physical situation and be able to last all the way through and still be able to like have some energy for the rest of my day. And it was beautiful and it was worth it. But that's not really where it came from. So then where this it's worth it came from. The next day when we were in Yucatan, we went to the some Mayapan ruins. So it was the Mayapan ruins. So it was ancient Mayan ruins. And there were all different types of structures in what used to be a city. Um and so there was this really big pyramid in the middle of the city, which was, known to be like a temple or whatever, and the most important structure in the area because it was the largest. And at the end, well, not at the end, but after they gave us the verbal part, like the formal part of the tour of these ruins, they allowed us to explore. And one of the things that we could do while we explored was to climb this pyramid and go to the top of it and just take a look around. The pyramid was steep. And they told us, you actually had to climb it. It wasn't just stairs that you could walk up. And they told us, you had to turn around and like climb back down, or climb down sideways, or scooch on your butt. Don't just try to walk down, because it's not built like stairs. It's built like steps, but it's not like the steps are not wide like a regular stair. The steps were kind of crooked and crumbly, like they were stone, and they were steep, and they were inconsistent. And so our whole group, my cousin Michael and his wife Emily and their three children, they're like, all right, let's go. They go up, and I was like, I want to go. I go up. I start going up. A bunch of other people start going up. Michelle's like, I'm standing on the ground. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. We're gonna cut that out of the show. Michelle's like, I'm standing on the ground. Y'all have fun with that. Um, and so I start going up. I start going up. I start going up. And then I want to say about a third of the way, maybe a little further, I got scared. I got scared. And it wasn't even the climb up. I got scared. Ooh, that's crazy. It wasn't even the climb up that I was afraid of. It was the fall down that I was afraid of. I the every step I took up, I got more and more nervous about what it was gonna feel like to come down, and if I was gonna be afraid coming back down, because I knew you gotta come back down. You go up, you gotta come back down. But it wasn't even the climb up that I was afraid of. I was afraid of going down. Um, there's a lot in that. And so I came back down because I didn't wanna get too high to where I would be uncomfortable with how far or how difficult it would be to come back down, so I came down. And as I'm on the ground, I'm just looking at the top, I'm looking at all the people who are going up, I'm looking at all the people who are coming back down, and, there's people younger than me, older than me, heavier than me, stronger than me, like, there's people who are of all different, age ranges and body types who are going up this pyramid and coming back down perfectly fine, perfectly safe. And there was this one lady who went all the way up, and she came all the way down, and she's talking to her partner while he's at the bottom, like, "I don't know about that," and she turned to him, and she goes, "It's worth it. The view is worth it." And something stuck with me when she said that, because while I was standing on the ground, I really, really was thinking, "Man, I should try to go back up, but I'm scared." And I was looking around, and I was looking at the top, and I was like, "Man, I know that if I get back on the bus and I don't at least try to go to the top, I'm gonna be thinking the whole ride home, I should have tried it because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity." Like, I do believe that God will give me many great experiences, but who knows? Maybe I'll, you can't tell what life will tell where life will take you. Maybe I'll get another opportunity to climb a ruin. Maybe I won't. Like, other people went to ruins and didn't get a chance to climb theirs. And so I'm standing there and I'm looking up and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, "Man, like, I don't want to regret this, but it's kind of scary." And when she said to her partner, "It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it." I couldn't let that phrase go. And when she told him it's worth it, he put his fear down and was like, "Okay," and started climbing up. And as he got higher and higher, I was like, "Man," I turned to my cousin Michelle and I was like, because we were starting to run out of time, I was like, "I think it's now or never." She was like, "You better go if you're gonna go." And as I'm looking at this man ascend, he gets higher than where I was. And he stops and he turns around and he takes a look and he's like, "Man, I wish I'd have brought my cell phone." Already showing that he's not even all the way at the top, but the view is already beautiful. His ascent is already worth it, and he's already made it further than me just by taking a chance. And so I look at his lady, I'm like, "I'll take him his phone. I'm finna go up." She hand me his phone, I stick it in my pocket, and I just start booking it towards the top, like, way faster than the first time, and I don't know what it was, maybe because I had been on the rocks and I had already climbed up some, so I wasn't as nervous anymore, I kinda knew kind of how and where to grab, um, and everybody kept saying, "Just don't look off the side, just don't look." I had on my hat, and I just kinda kept my view just right directly in front of me. The guy, as I got closer to him, he thought I was only gonna come up to where he was and meet him where he was. I said, "No, we're going to the top." And I'm climbing, I'm climbing, I'm climbing, I'm climbing, I'm climbing. Next thing you know, I hear this kid like, "Hey, watch out, I'm right here." And I look up and I'm probably about 5 steps from the top. And I'm like, "Whoa, like, I'm here." So I'm finished making my way to the top. And before I could even like take a deep breath, I look up and it's absolutely gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. I turn around and I can see so far and I can see so clear. And I gave the guy his phone. I take a picture of him for him at the top. My cousin's up there. I have her take a picture of me. I walk around the top because once you're at the top, it's flat. It's even. It's easy to be up there. Like the stones are nice and high, so there's really no risk of falling off. Like it really wasn't windy, so there was really no concern about the breeze. And I just was like, she said it was worth it, and it was absolutely 100% unequivocally worth taking that climb. And the climb down, because I had already come down, I already had some experience with that. It wasn't that bad. I was even able to help other people climb down because I was like, well, when I climbed down the first time or from part way, this was the easiest way. And I was able to kind of help other people navigate through that as well. That's a word too about the climb down, man. And so everything that I thought was scary about that experience, like, am I strong enough? Like, am I gonna be scared? Is it gonna be too windy? Is my hat gonna blow off? Am I gonna be able to climb down right? Like, once I got into it, all of that went away. And yeah, it was difficult. It was difficult. I was sweat. I took a picture of myself, and when I got to the bottom, I was sweat. I was dripping in sweat. I was sweating so much that like the sweat collected on my face. It looked like I had teardrops coming down. I was sweating so much. Um, and it wasn't an easy climb, but there was nothing impossible about it. To be honest, the whole thing was more intimidating than it was hard. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy, but the whole thing was more intimidating than it was difficult. And those words, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Was the driving factor to make me go ahead and be like, you know what? I gotta make this climb. Even if I get up there and I'm completely terrified and I come back down and I'm like, I'm never doing that again. It's worth it. I have to do it. I have to do it. And honestly, I was doing all kind of stuff after that point of the trip. Like, I feel a little fearless because, you know, I don't want to cut myself off from experiences because they are scary or because they're going to require a lot of work. Because at the end of the day, what's for you is for you and it's worth it. And when you're walking through it, if you just put your head down and you just give it what you got, one step at a time, one moment at a time, one step up and one step down, like it is worth it. And my biggest fear in those moments, I mean, it wasn't just failure, it was pain and like being injured. But when I looked around, I'm like, people are doing this. This isn't even a thing that's impossible. This isn't a thing that's inaccessible. Like nobody is getting to the bottom and being like, oh my gosh, that was so hard. Everybody's just kind of tired. And so, people are leading by example. And the only thing that was keeping me on the ground and keeping me away from that beautiful view at the top and that wonderful experience is myself. That was the only thing. Now, my cousin Michelle, who ain't want to go up, she's like, I got my reasons. And her reasons was legitimate for real. Why she wasn't going up there. I was like, nah, girl, you stay on the ground. But for those of us who are willing and able to take that climb, the only thing that was getting in the way was us, was me. Was this fear of what it was like to come down. It wasn't even a fear of the moment that I was in. It was a fear of a moment that was to come. And I hadn't even considered when I was coming back down, would it be worth it at the top? When I spend my money, I consider whether or not it would be worth it to go on the excursion in the first place. And I knew that, because I believe in spending money on experiences because they're usually worth it or tend to be worth it. Or I can make that money back, whatever. But it made me think about how I'm approaching many of things in my life. Honestly, I thought when I was preparing for this, I was thinking more so about the things that are difficult, that are big, that are long, that are, that require a lot of work and how, at the end of the day, like I'm not actually afraid of work. As much as I'm prayerful of things being easy for me, I actually don't want them to be easy. I just want them to be simple enough for me to execute without stressing. That's my real prayer. I don't like things to be easy. I like them to require a little bit of work because I feel more accomplished at the end of it. But not so much work that I lose sleep, not so much work that I have headaches, not so much work that I can't eat, not so much work that I'm stressed and then I'm falling apart, but a good healthy amount of work where it takes a little bit of mental fortitude to get through. I like that. because I'm invigorated by those kinds of accomplishments because it makes it feel so much worth it. It makes you really feel like you did something. I don't mind that. And I had to be reminded of that. I'm not afraid of work, but also I had to be reminded that, and as I'm talking right now, that you can't be afraid of the things that are to come. You have to just take on what you have ahead of you. I was fearful about the come down. I was fearful about failing. I was fearful about falling. But when I took a look around, I had everything. If I was going to fall, if I was at risk of falling and hurting myself, I would have never been presented with the opportunity to climb in the first place. And that's how God will carry you through. If you're going to fall and you're going to fail, you're not going to be presented with the opportunity to go in the first place. And if you do fall and fail, there was supposed to be a lesson in that anyhow. There was a paramedic available for us should we had injured ourselves. And one of my little cousins needed a band-aid, so we called upon her. Nothing major. Um, but if it was dangerous, if it was impossible, if it was something I wasn't supposed to do, God would have prevented me from doing that. The Holy Spirit would have intervened, and I wouldn't have been able to have access to that opportunity. There were people who went to other rooms and they weren't allowed to climb their pyramids. They weren't allowed to climb the rooms, probably because it was more dangerous. It was not safe. As a matter of fact, they even told us what side of the room that we could climb because the other three sides of the pyramid. Did y'all see both flies that time? It's the lights. But the other three sides of the pyramid were not safe. The stairs were much more corroded. Um, and so there was one side that we could safely go up and down. God won't place you in a position where this is going to be dangerous for you. And I tell my clients all the time when they don't want to do things that, if there's no actual tangible like concern of why you should and you shouldn't, then you're just really being afraid of the boogeyman. And as I was climbing up the side of that pyramid the first time, the side of that room the first time, I was literally afraid of the boogeyman. I was afraid of what it was like to come down when it wasn't even time to come down. Yeah, the height was bothering me a little bit, but I wasn't thinking of like, "Oh, I'm so high." It was, "Oh, I'm gonna have to come down from this." Sometimes we cut ourselves off from great experiences because, we're gonna have to come down from this. Sometimes we cut ourselves off from happiness, from joy, from ascension because, "Oh, the work is gonna be hard." But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. It's worth the experience. It's worth the trials. It is worth the effort. It is worth the energy. It's worth it. Because when you get to the top, the view is absolutely beautiful. I have a video from the top of the room, from the top of the pyramid. And I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it and make sure that you guys are able to see it. So that you can see that is it worth it to beat up this fly? Yeah, I'm gonna post the video so you guys can have an opportunity to see exactly what it was that I was able um to view when I got to the top. It was absolutely worth it. It was absolutely worth it. And so as I was thinking about it, from that point forward, that we ended up swimming in a cenote. Um, I previously wouldn't have done that because it was freshwater and I don't really float well in fresh water, but I had my life vest and I know that the life vest floats. And so if it floats, I'm gonna float as long as it's on me. And I got in and I got out that water and I felt so cleansed. But had I allowed fear to paralyze me even then, I wouldn't have had that experience. It was worth it. So now the lesson is, what are you afraid of trying? What are you afraid of doing? What did you start to ascend the mountain of and decide to prematurely pull out because you got scared of what it was like once you ascended? what it would be like when you got to the other side, what it would be like to come down and have to leave that experience. What have you done? What have you not done that if I could do this, if I push through, it just might be worth it. I'm really excited about the current slash next phases of my life. Being on vacation as long as I was made me really have a great appreciation for the life that I have been able to build over the a little over a half a year. I'm in a whole lot of different spaces. I know a lot of different people. I'm seeing things that I've never things that a year ago I didn't even consider that I wanted to see. I've had triumphs and I've had failures along the way, but honestly, the failures along the way haven't been that big of a deal because the successes and the advancements that have come out of everything have been worth it. And honestly, I'm in a phase of life where I'm getting everything that I want. And the reason why I'm getting everything I want is that I'm actually pushing forward. Mom says, "What have you not even started that could be worth it?" Whether you haven't started it yet or you have started it and you've backed out of it or backed away from it because of fear, it doesn't matter. Like, if it's still on your heart to proceed forward, do it. It's worth it. You don't know how you're gonna do it, figure it out along the way. It's worth it. I once I started climbing those steps, I didn't realize that they were so uneven and so rocky, so I didn't know exactly how to get up, but I moved this way and that way. I moved to the side, on my way up, and I figured it out. I figured out that on the way down, it was best to go all the way over to the side where you can kinda grab the ledge a little bit, and because the corners of the r of the because there were steps, and then on the corners, it kinda, like, came up some. So you can I was like, okay, it's easy if you scooch all the way to the side and you kind of grab on where it's elevated and then you step down together, like kind of like a toddler holding a railing coming down the stairs. That was the easiest way for me to come down and pretty quickly. I figured that out along the way. And it wasn't even that hard to figure it out. And once I figured it out, once I got a groove for it, the scariest part of the whole adventure wasn't even that hard. And it wasn't even that scary once I got to the flow of it. And when I was down on the ground, I had this experience. I had this elevation. I had this memory. I had this whole adventure that I wouldn't have otherwise had that other ladies not said it's worth it. Had it not spirit set in my spirit that it is worth it. Putting yourself out there is worth it, even if it is rejection, even if it don't work out, it's worth it. Because then you'll have an opportunity to know where you should go and where you shouldn't go, how you should step and how you shouldn't step. If you want something and it's gonna require some work, it's worth it. Even if it takes a long time, it's worth it. Even if you gotta go slow, it's worth it. Even if it's hot and you sweating, you wanna cry, it's worth it. Even if you get a little blood like my cousin did, it's worth it. Why? Because you want it. Because you want it. Because it's beautiful. Because life is to be lived and experiences are to be had. On the ground where everything is safe, there's no advancement. It's just, you're just present. But if there's a desire in you to move beyond that, I'm not telling you to move beyond what you even desire. But if you desire it, if it's on your heart and it's available to you, and it's available to you, don't sell yourself short. Don't stop yourself. Don't cut yourself off because it's worth it. I'm really excited to see where that experience takes me because I'm invigorated right now to jump into some things that um were scary. that I thought were scary, or that I or that just seemed big, or just seemed like they would take a long time. I'm excited about jumping into those things because what's on the other side of that is worth it. Um, I ain't afraid of a little hard work. I mean, if you guys know, when I came in here after walking around after the community cookout that I had at the church a week ago, it seemed 2 weeks ago, it seems so long ago. Um, I felt really accomplished in that because it had been a while since I put together an event. I used to put together events all the time when I was an undergrad, and it was just a piece of cake. And so a lot of that stuff came back to me when I was planning these things and planning it. And I would say, I'm like, this isn't even really difficult. There's just a lot of small steps to it that are tedious and time consuming. But if I just do it, it gets done. And I wasn't really sure how some stuff would come together, but I just kept climbing that mountain, and then it did. And the early mornings that I was up, the late nights that I was up, the phone calls I had to make, the people I had to chase down, the things I had to pick up, the 72 orders for Amazon, and all these receipts I had to keep track of was worth it because the event was beautiful. And I felt accomplished after doing all of that. And it was another moment where it reminded me that Mo ain't scared of no hard work. And there's been a period of time, I'm gonna say the last couple of years, where I've kinda acted like I was scared of hard work. And that's because hard work broke me. But it wasn't just the hard work that broke me. It was hard work plus poor coping skills plus undiagnosed mental illnesses, plural, because the depression was kicking my butt, and the depression beat up my ADHD. It was grief happening all at the same time. It was the Lord shifting me and moving me into spaces, and me not quite having the same understanding of how he moves specifically in my life, but in general as well. It was me not having the understanding of how and why he moves the way he does. That I had to learn through all of that. And so it made me a little fearful of hard work, because hard work wasn't just hard work. It was me pushing beyond my capabilities, and it broke my brain. But now that I got my brain back, I'm being reminded that I've never been afraid of hard work. I've always loved being an overachiever. I've always had entirely too many extracurriculars going on in my life. It's never been hard work I'm afraid of. It's being burned out. It's been the fall. It's been not being able to take care of myself. It's been not having resources that I've been afraid of. But some of that has been a result of going places where I wasn't supposed to go. Some of that was the Lord telling me I needed to sit down and learn myself better so that I can work hard. Some of that was a lack of boundaries and working myself harder than I ever was supposed to, letting people take advantage of my desire and my ability to work hard. Some of it was laziness. Some of it was bona fide laziness. Some of it was me legitimately needing to take a break and take a rest, and not knowing how and when to do that. And so, as my brain has been coming back together, as I have been trying to deal with whatever my transition in life is going to be next, I have had this fear of falling, or this fear of failing, this fear of coming down, this fear of getting into things that I might not be able to sustain. And I don't really believe I missed out any opportunities, because if the opportunity was for me, God would have set it in my lap like he does a lot of things. But there are some things that I have avoided getting into, or some opportunities that I have avoided because of the fear of the fall, the fear of coming down. But I'm ready to work now because it's worth it. If I want it, it's worth it. If I want to do it, it's worth it. I got some people to help in this world. The work that's going to come behind it is worth it. The late nights are going to be worth it. The early mornings are going to be worth it. It's worth it. I came into the studio today because I didn't know whether or not I was going to be tired or inspired. I'm both. But I knew I had to get this lesson out of me while it was still fresh. 'cause it's worth it. And I feel everything that you should feel coming off vacation. I feel rested and relaxed. I feel annoyed because of this fly. I feel invigorated, but I felt the last day of the trip, I simultaneously felt like I ain't never felt like staying somewhere and going home so hard at the same time. I wanted to stay obviously because I was having a great time, and who doesn't want to just be somewhere where people always cook for you and clean up after you, and you can just like just be in the pool like with a margarita at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. Like, who doesn't want that? But I was ready to come home because I was away long enough to take an inventory of my life and realize that I've built something amazing. I love my life. I love my home. I love my child. I love the work that I do. I love the social engagement that I have. I love my family and my friends, even the hard stuff. The effort that it takes to accomplish some of the things that I have accomplished. I love it all. I love my life, and I was ready to get back to it. And everything that I've done to get myself to this point, from stepping out on a limb professionally to stepping out on a limb socially, and trying new things and being in new spaces and taking new chances, getting messy. Wait, take chances, get messy, get dirt. Wait, hold on. Make mistakes, take chances, get messy. Something like that. Miss Frizzle, Magic School Bus. Um, everything that I've done, my personal growth, looking at my childhood trauma, talking to my parents crazy about what we've gone through, trying to make amends with myself, with my friends, trying to be a better person. All of it has been worth it. All of it has been worth it. And I just feel like, the trip in and of itself was simultaneously God showing me things, but also rewarding me. Why am I finna cry? Ain't nobody got no time to be crying on this podcast every time I get behind the mic. It was God simultaneously showing me things, showing me my past, my present, and my future, and rewarding me for all of the hard work that I've been doing to be a better person because I've worked really hard. People tell me I'm a good person, and sometimes I just be like, "Well, you supposed to be," because I don't really think it's that big of a deal to be. But my brother told me once, he's like, "No, you actually actively work at being a good person." And I should commend myself for that sometimes because it is work, you know. It does take a lot to not just cuss people out and pop off at them. It does take work to even hold yourself until the appropriate moment where you can talk to a family member or friend or somebody that's close to you who is going to allow you to, express yourself without spreading your business everywhere, without demonizing you. Like, it takes work. It takes worth to just try to grow as an individual. And I put in a lot of work, and and the way my life is set up, it shows that. And I really think it's worth it. The healing journey is difficult, it's worth it. Your educational journey is difficult, but it's worth it. Even your fitness journey. I'm about to get it. I'm probably about to go hard in the gym because I got about 20 more pounds I want to take off. And it's gonna be worth it. Oh, because look, the weight that I done already lost, the way I was feeling in my swimsuits, you couldn't tell me nothing. Nah, y'all not gonna get no pictures of that. Maybe a little, maybe a little, maybe a little. But I put on my pink swimsuit. I was like, "Oh, this is not the same body that wore this swimsuit. Oh, yes, it's worth it. Feeling better is worth it." Like, people were asking me, or figuring out and asking me about being vegetarian the whole trip because everywhere I went, I was like, I was looking for the no meat options, and there were plenty of them. So I ate well. Um, but even that has been worth it. My ability to be more agile and more energetic, it's been worth it. And yeah, it's a little bit more difficult to find non-meat options. And I ain't even gonna lie. We was in New Orleans and I made a determination before I left that I was cheating in New Orleans because I had to give me some crawfish etouffee. I had to give me some, I had to try me a little spoonful of gumbo. So I ate a little seafood while I was gone, but not much because my stomach still was like, we don't eat this no more. So we're not gonna eat this the whole trip. Thank you. um But, even the journey and the extra effort and extra steps and extra thinking that I have to, the extra provisions that I have to make in order to maintain this diet is still even worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. The things that I've had to give up in life for the betterment of myself have been worth it. Um, the sacrifices that I've made, the fasting that I've done, the time that I've taken into prayer, it has been worth it because I feel like a better, brighter, lighter person. I feel more prepared personally, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially for the things that are going to come ahead of me. And those sacrifices and that hard work has been worth it. Because, like I said before, sacrifice is not about just giving things up for the sake of giving things up. It's about reallocating time, effort, and energy, resources from one direction to another in order to have a desired outcome in the future that is not going to be in alignment with the things that you give up. That's why you have to give those things up because that is not in alignment with their future. I fried food every day is not in alignment with a weight loss future. So you have to divest the energy from that and invest into healthier, more clean eating so that your body will respond accordingly to what you desire to get out of it. And it ain't just about I can't have my favorite stuff no more. Because in all honesty, if you eat less of your favorite stuff, you can still have it. Will you get the results as quickly depending on what your favorite stuff is? But at the end of the day, if you put forth the effort, the energy to put yourself in the direction of what it is that you want, to stop letting the boogeyman get at you, to stop letting hard work intimidate you, when you make it to the top, it's worth it. Okay, so these flies is getting on my nerves. And I've been on the live for almost an hour. So we're going to go ahead. Before I cry some more on camera, we're going to pray it out and we're going to go on. Father God, I thank you for this day. I'm full of so much gratitude and love. I thank you for the opportunity to be here, to speak to your people, and to spread this message. I ask that you just be with me and be with everybody under the sound of my voice, that we are fearless, that we move in you, we move with you, and that we know that the things that we desire in our hearts and the things that we're working for are worth all the time, effort, and energy that it takes to get there. And that with you, if we are to be there, that you will lead us and you will guide us and you will provide us with everything that you need, that we need, and you will keep us safe in those adventures. In Jesus' name, thank God. Amen. All right, folks. I thank you for spending time with me. Gosh, this has been a good one. If you would like to give me a little financial appreciation for my time here for today, you can hit my Cash App, #Moe MoeSghetti, buy me a coffee, buy me a car, whatever's in your wallet, whatever's on your heart. I just took this trip and these excursions, so I need my dollars back. But ultimately, I do this out of my heart because I really believe in what I'm doing here and what I have to say when I'm behind this mic. And I just really appreciate y'all for spending a moment with me. And I will see y'all. I can't say next week. I'll see you when I see you. All right, take me out, Tom.